Shalom, TaNaKh wisdom. Train, train. In Proverbs 22:6, well-known scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart from it. We're talking about children because we just came off of a couple uploads about one out of us or away from us, which is Satan and the messengers, and we have become like the dragon in our nature, that serpent of old called the devil and Satan, and also born again. We know now from the Hebrew scripture says, unless one is born from above, born from above, his thoughts coming from above to direct his way. And it's being born from above, constant. And we know the upload about life, chayi. The function of that verb literally is living by virtue of Yahweh's thoughts. So we are born. Those of us who've been born from above and are now striving and growing up to maturity, we have children. Now our children, we have to approach them recognizing that they have been born with the traits, the iniquities of their fathers. we were born with the trait of the adversary, that devil. And so the scripture tells us how to stem that bent towards rebellion until they become old enough to where they can make a decision that they want to serve Yahweh mano a mano, one-on-one, for themselves. The way to do that, according to Proverbs 23, says, do not withhold correction from your child. You will discipline him with the rod. You will beat him with the rod. He will not die, but you will beat him with the rod and save his soul from Sheol, from hell. So, Proverbs 22:6 says to train them up in the way they should go, and when they're older, they will not depart from it. The Hebrew says, chanok lana'ar al pi darko. Right? It says, chanok. That is the Hebrew word for Enoch. Enoch, the one who walked himself with powers, and then Yahweh just translated him into heaven. The one whose great-grandchild was Noah, Noach. And the scripture says also, Noach walked himself with powers as well. So this word train is translated from the Hebrew chanok, chet, nun, kaph. The verb function is to habituate. Habituate, immerse in an activity for a specific task. Habituate, immerse in an activity for a specific task. To or toward a youth, al pi, upon the mouth, darko, of his way. Habituate, we are habitual creatures the way Yahweh made us. We learn through repetition, constant, repeat, repeat, repeat. And then it'll become a habit. And then it'll become part of our life. So we habituate to or for a youth, a child, upon the mouth of his way. Upon the mouth. What is that? In Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 18-19 says, therefore, you will lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul, mind, will, and emotions. Hide the words in our hearts, minds, and soul, and bind them as sign on your hand, figurative of doing, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. Frontlets between your eyes. Between your eyes is your brain. So always keep your mind on them, or thoughts. Constantly on the thoughts from above. Right? And it says, verse 19, you will teach them to your children. Speaking of them, when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. It says you will teach them to your children all day long. Rising up, lying down, walking by the way, and and just at all times. Now, the word teach in 19 of Deuteronomy 11 is the word lamad. We did an upload on that. That Hebrew word is the word that they translated as disciple. Wow. So, in other words, it's saying you will disciple your children. Huh? Yeshua told us to go throughout the whole world and make disciples of all men. In other words, make learners of me. So we begin in our homes with our children who we created. Yeah? So that means, and we also did the upload about synagogue, which means house gathering. And so every home has an overseer, has a shepherd, has a pastor, a teacher. They are the parents, the father, the mother, to disciple their children in the way of the word, the instructions. Huh? Psalm 119 verse 105 says, your word is a lamp unto my feet. A lamp lets you know what the next step to take, and a light unto my path, the direction that you're headed in, to fulfill purpose. Right? So now we understand, habituate for a youth upon the mouth of his way, Proverbs 22:6. Because the mouth, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, which is the purpose of the word in our heart and mind. And we will fulfill the purpose by which Yahweh instructs us to fulfill, because Yeshua says, let your yes be yes, your nay be nay. Anything other than that, if it's not edifying your brethren, you'll get yourself in trouble. By your words you'll be justified, by your words you'll be condemned. So, we see, it's simple actually. Disciple your children. Disciple them in the word. You know, a child is born knowing nothing. The parents are the gatekeepers. You regulate what they see or what they hear. And you habituate them in what the word says, so they can fulfill their purpose by which Yahweh blessed you with them. Seeds of powers, his inheritance. He entrusted you to make sure that they grow up in the way of the word, and he says they will never depart from it, and they will be faithful servants in the kingdom. And one last thing. Man has been given 120 years to live. 120 years. 120 years. A man is mature at 40 years old. So that's 3 generations. 40, 40, 40. Yeah? A man is mature. That's when he's supposed to reproduce, when he's mature. Right? So, and he is promised to enjoy his children's children. Yeah, and then he'll be satisfied, happy, because he sees the fruit of his creation and his habituating them, and he can go on to be with Yahweh satisfied and happy. Yeah. So, but we are in a generation of perversity and corruption and selfish pursuits and prideful interactions. Yeah. But within the hands of the mothers, the women, you can change the narrative through your children, not only in the generation that you birthed them in, but for the next generation and the following generation. So we're not without hope to change the context of our existence. It doesn't matter which governments that you may find yourselves submitted to as a citizen. You can change the narrative if it is negative through habituating your children upon the mouth of their way, and they will never depart from it. And Yahweh says, I will be to them for powers and establish his reign in and through them, of righting wrongs, meeting needs, and setting things in order for the innocent, the poor and widow, the poor and needy, and the orphan and widow. Shalom. TaNaKh.